Hey everyone. Um, just a, I'm in the process of listening to the new Smashing Pumpkins Autumn box set. I made an unboxing video the other day about it, and I've had a lot of good conversation with folks in the comments of those. But I've gotten about halfway through Act 2, so record 2, the second side. Getting ready to start Beguiled, which I think is one of the big ones that a lot of people have been talking about as one of the singles. And just wanted to kind of talk about my thoughts on some of this. In terms of some of the comments, I saw a lot of people were talking about, there's only a couple of songs that really got me and that I've added to playlists and everything. I totally get that, right? Some of the, like, I'm approaching this from the perspective of I listened to the podcast ahead of time, episode by episode as they were coming out each week, and learned a little bit more about the story as time went on, and heard those songs individually, one song per week for 32, 33 episodes. So I kind of had an idea of the storyline and everything coming into it from Billy's mouth, not actually hearing a story of any sort, but just Billy talking about what each song meant in the timeline of the story. So the book from my previous video that I just touched on, this book is, I wasn't 100% sure what all it contained when I did the unboxing, but what it has in it is essentially, it's got some credits and things like that, and it talks about the story itself a little bit. But what you really have in here that's helpful, that I found really interesting as I was listening to each song, there's a track by track synopsis. So you have, like, this is gonna be, you're not gonna be able to see this, but so for instance, on one page there's a Act 1, and it breaks down each track and gives a synopsis for each track. So the way that I'm consuming this, if you will, I don't know, is I am, as the track starts, I read the synopsis for that track, and then a few pages later, you've got lyrics for all the songs. So I'm doing like we used to do when we were kids in the 80s and 90s. We get a new album and we unfold the lyric sheet from our cassette or our CD or whatever, and we listen to it start to finish with reading along with the lyrics and trying to understand what they're talking about and everything. This feels like for me, that's the only proper way for me to fully understand and consume, not understand, there's a lot of nuances involved with this, but with this album and the storyline and everything, but it's helping me to just take it in a little bit better. In this day and age, it's so easy we have access to all the music all the time, and it's just consume, and it's so hard to find the time to sit down and enjoy an album from start to finish. We all want to put the hits on the playlist and listen to those songs that really pull us in, And so while I think that so far there are a handful of songs that have really awesome gut punches for me, like I really feel them. Hearing the songs as a whole so far into Act 2, it's a really interesting journey, and I recommend, if you're going to listen to the album and give it a fair shot, start from the beginning. If you have access to lyrics, read along with the lyrics as the songs are playing. Set aside that time, dedicate some time to really see how it makes you feel. One thing I have noticed so far, and that I keep noticing as I'm reading each track synopsis and listening to the songs and reading the lyrics, any song directly with the X and I directly correlated, or either it's them singing it, as you will, or being a part of it in any direct way, totally rocks. Each of those songs, the riffs are great. They're the heavier, more straight ahead rock songs. So keep that in mind. Tell me if you feel the same about it. I'm going to continue listening to this. I have the rest of Act 2 and all of Act 3, and side D, or the second side of the last record, is just the story, and I'm not really sure what that means. I haven't gotten there yet, and there's not really a lot of detail in this book about what that means. I don't know if it's a reading of it or what it is. I'll make a second part to this and stitch the two videos together. But one other thing that I wanted to point out is I kind of feel that the mental imagery that I keep getting in my head as I'm listening to this and reading through the track synopses, I guess that's right, is that for some reason I keep going to Stranger Things, like the storyline where two of those, I can't remember any of the people's names off the top of my head right now, but when they're going to visit that guy, that underground guy, the guy with the glasses, that's popping in my head as certain characters in this play are going to see the hacker and everything. So for some reason I can't get the Stranger Things characters out of my head, and I'm kind of assigning those actresses to some of these characters, and that's not really helping at anything, but just an observation. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop here, and I'll pop back in with the second part of the video once I've finished the whole thing, I guess. Okay, I just finished the third act. I did not listen to the last side of the fourth LP. I did do a little bit of research, and it turns out that is what I was expecting it to be. It is a reading of Act 1 by a fellow, I just looked it up, I think his name is Bill Curtis or something. That could be wrong, but I will listen to that tomorrow, along with the 5/7 inches that came with the box set, since those are kind of separate from the musical aspect of the rock opera in 3 acts. I'll listen to those separately. But aside from the first part of this video, I made it all the way through all 3 acts without any interruptions, no bathroom breaks, nothing. So my initial reaction, I am kind of longing for a little bit more. I really enjoyed it. Probably the song that gave me goosebumps was the last song in Act 2. As Act 2 is ending, there's a song called Springtimes. It has some really beautiful finger-picked acoustic. There's a point in it where 2 different guitar solos come in at the same time, one in each channel, and where I happen to be sitting in the room where my setup is, I've got the right hand speaker up in the corner close to the ceiling, and the left hand speaker is down about chest level. And so I was hearing it in both ears, each solo, one in each ear, and really just kind of gave me chills. So that's probably my favorite part of it, just based off my initial reaction. All in all, I would definitely recommend, if you're going to give this a real chance, I mean, the sheer ambition for creating a story like this, creating musical aspect to the story, to kind of narrate it in song form, is just kind of unbelievable. One thing I forgot to mention, in each of these songs is kind of, in each synopsis, it tells you who is performing the song, even though it's all obviously the Smashing Pumpkins. It's all Billy singing lead on all of these. It is the different characters are being portrayed as the performers of the songs who are singing the songs. So that kind of gives you an idea as you're trying to follow along with the story. That's what really makes it important to, if you're giving it a fair shake, to kind of follow along with the lyrics and pay attention to who's performing the songs, and follow the storyline. And it really kind of gives it a different feel, a different vibe than just sitting down listening to the songs while you're kind of distracted playing around on your phone, not really paying much attention to it. And I feel like you'll get a much better experience with it that way. So that's really all I've got. I might make a separate video on the 7 inches, or my take on the reading of Act 1 on the last side of the 4th LP, or I might not. I don't know. I guess it just depends. But thanks for sticking in there with me on this one. And I hope you give it a shot and enjoy it as much as I did. Thanks a lot.